Hi, I'm Rita Reyes. I write a blog called Nakedlyunderconstruction, and now we're making it a podcast. So we like to tell the story of all kinds of different people, from talent of comedians, artists, photography, musicians, and so many other people. So many stories to tell you, as well as skilled people, people that have different businesses, whether they have a tobacco brand or a restaurant or a nail salon or a product. I want to tell the stories of people from all different walks of life, because everybody's gone through things, everybody's overcome things, everybody's had life happen to them. So we're going to hear the things that they've accomplished and how they got to them, and then a little bit about like the way they think. So today I do have an artist here with me, and your name is
Luielg. Thank you for having me.
Luielg. Want to make sure that we're specifically saying it like that, because I always say Luigi.
Yeah, today we fixed that. Today we've adjusted, we've addressed the issue, and we're back on track.
So I do want to mention that, in case you guys want to know who I am writer Reyes, not writer Eyes, although that is how you spell it, because my last name is Reyes, which means I am the writer king. And there will be a blog post about this on nakedlyunderconstruction.blog, as well as these clips on the social media accounts and the actual podcast on YouTube and Spotify. So let's get right into it now that we have our first guest.
My name is Luielg. I'm an entertainer, producer. And thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm only having talented people and skilled people, so I know you're one of those.
I am. At least I like to think that I am, or at least I hope I am.
What are your talents and skills?
So there's a little bit of a list. I like to start with saying I'm an entertainer, because that's like my strong suit. I like to be on stage. I like to perform. I like to sing. And that's what I do on the music side. So we make the songs and everything, and that's all fun. But day to day, my day job is I'm a producer, television, TV producer. So my entire life is pretty much dedicated to
the technical side of it.
Technical side of things behind the scenes, and then also in front of the camera as well, as I guess we could call it that.
Okay,
too.
so do you do directing?
No, so I work with directors and I make directors' visions come to life.
Okay.
So they give me a plan. They gave me, hey, we want to do this, this, and that. So that either starts from drawing up storyboards of how we want certain scenes to do. And that's a whole process too. That's like from start to finish of a commercial production or news segment. And writing is involved, obviously, with scripts and whatnot. And then from shooting to post-production editing, I do all of that as well. So
how did you get into that?
How I got into that as a kid, in the very, very early days of when this awesome website called YouTube was, starting up. Me and my friends in the neighborhood, some of who I still am very close with today, we were like, hey, there are people posting funny videos on YouTube. So we were like, let's learn about cameras and how to do X, Y, and Z. So that became my hyperfixation since like high school. And that kind of took off once I graduated high school and college and everything. So
what you said, you graduated college? So is that what you studied in college?
No. So I went to school for marketing, the business side of things. I think that's really important. So like, as much of a creative as I am, I think it's also very important to understand the business side of this type of industry, because it's fun to have make a lot of fun things and make music and videos and such, but if you're not marketing yourself correctly, or if you're not.
So you did that so that you could market yourself, or so that you could go out and be a marketer for anybody?
It wasn't so much like that was the goal. I think I just did it more for like myself. Had to have an understanding, because like at the end of the day, I saw being an artist and being a music artist, I should say, as someone who has to market themselves, and you are the product at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
Right? So what is the best way that I can reach a target audience, my demographic, what type of networks I need to be involved with, Do I need to niche it down a little bit more?
So, since you're an expert on this, do you have any tips for people listening when that comes to those things?
Know who your audience is.
Yeah.
Don't just throw something out there and expect to get a bite, you
Yeah.
know? So you really have to do things intentionally with what you're putting out, and you need to have a plan. You can't, at least in my
Yeah.
professional college educated opinion, you need to have,
That's what we're asking for.
yeah. You need to have a plan for sure. For
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
And so I thought it was interesting. I'm like, do I want to go back to like more about what you do, or do I want to delve in down this street of like, because you mentioned
It was
the
a lot.
logic. I know you,
It was
you
a lot.
mentioned
I'm
so
sorry.
many things, and
I'm
I'm
sorry.
like, I don't even
It
know
was
where
a
to
lot.
start, guys. Sorry,
Yeah,
I have so
yeah.
many questions. I'm sure you guys do too.
How about let's start with let's do the music side of things first. Let's start there. Let's start there.
So we just for a moment there we went back to the more logical side of you. So let's go back to the more creative side. I guess
Yeah,
that's the way
sure.
we'll look at that. So how does that balance inside you? So are you more passionate about being a singer and an entertainer? And what's the difference between being a singer and an entertainer?
I'm definitely passionate about the singing side of things. You know when they say like chase your passions or like chase whatever is like that gives you that fire, like that burning sensation inside of you, and that's what it was for me. So, I was doing the videos, I was doing the production side of things, of everything, but there was just something about like, hey, I wrote a song, let me perform it, like, and getting cheers and applauses, and like not to make it so much about like the spotlight is on me, but just like,
To be recognized and to have your
yeah.
art seen.
Right.
Yeah.
So especially like being in the studio too, like my drive for sure is like putting the song together and then like playing it back in the studio, and then just like, you having your engineer just throwing in a few effects here, and then they're like, hey, why don't we try this ad lib here, or like let's do this take one more time because I know you can hit this higher note.
So what do you think it is about music that reaches people in that way?
I think, and this is something that I always say and what I try to do with my music as well. It's like, you have artists that are like really focused on lyrics, but then there are artists that like make music that makes you just overall feel good. And that's what I want to do, as an artist. There's either a feeling of like something of a certain song that's like linked to a core memory or something like that, or just like of a time where you weren't so stressed out about something, or a time where you were going through a bad breakup, or just a really bad time that someone is going through. I think those
Like
feelings,
life moments?
those life moments, yeah, like those feelings that you get from hearing a song, that's the goal, and that's what inspires me. That's what gives me the drive to make more music.
So it's like
that.
expressing yourself in those moments. Because why does it matter that the audience feels your pain or your love or your emotion then?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Not so much my particular emotion. I want them to feel like, hey, you're having a good time. Hey,
Okay.
it's going to be okay. Like, or hey, it's okay to be sad. Or yeah, screw
You
that
create
girl,
for
screw
the
that guy.
message.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know how like a lot of people say like, oh, I resonate so much with this song. Or,
Yeah,
like the
absolutely.
song speaks to me.
Absolutely, yeah.
I want to have someone say that,
Aw.
and then but it to be on a much wider
You're a great
scale.
performer. I've
Thank
seen,
you.
I have
Thank you.
been to a couple of the shows that he's performed at. We'll talk a little bit about his music group in a minute. And there's a couple, and this music group has multiple talented artists, and they're all very talented. But I will say that the last show that I went to for this group, Lucid Entertainment, you were the star of that day.
Thank you.
It was like a year or two ago, but I was like, I do remember that you're a great performer. And I also remember that when I interviewed you that night, and you can find that on Nakedly Under Construction's Instagram, you can go check out that interview. And I remember that you said that was kind of like a first timer for you and that you lost your voice.
Yeah. Which show was that?
Do you remember?
Hold on.
You were talking about, or maybe that was two different shows.
Was I wearing a bandana?
Yes.
Yeah, I lost my voice.
Yes.
I
Yes.
lost my voice. Yeah.
But you did a great job performing. So
Yeah.
that's why I kind of was like, if that's the case, I was like, how did you push through that and have like this, like, hey, I'm like the star of the show and I like ran the show, but I also lost my voice. Like,
Yeah.
so you were going through something and like, how did you do that?
And I don't
How
remember.
do you get through something like that?
I don't remember exactly the reason why. Like whatever it was that I was going through during that night. Which thank you, by the way. That means a lot. But I don't know. I think it's just like the drive and it's a mindset. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I believe everything is mindset. So, you know, I'm here doing the show and it's like it's not my first show, but it's also like I don't want to disappoint anybody, you know. And I'm sure like no one's gonna be on me about like, oh, you did a terrible job. I think I just didn't want to disappoint myself,
Right, right.
you know. So like I might hit a few notes like a little off key or something, but
Yeah.
like I still got to go out there, you
Right,
know.
right.
And you know, it's not the first time something like that has happened to me during a show. Like I think maybe
Okay.
2 shows before that, like the mic died.
Oh my God.
Some wireless mics are battery
Yeah,
powered, and just mid performance the battery died. And then luckily my DJ during that show, well we'll get back to that in
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
second.
yeah. No, we
But,
we
you
want to
know,
hear about the struggles that
so,
made before
yeah.
the amazing person that we're about to hear about.
Right. It'll segue into that. It'll segue into that. But my DJ during that performance, Sign Set, shout out to him. Thank you. Like we just had an unspoken understanding,
Yeah.
and he kind of like cued me in and kind of like gave me the road to do what I needed to do in that moment. And we kind of just like glared at each other like from a distance, like I understand now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
So support of other, like having a team is important.
oh, absolutely. So what he did was he turned the volume down of the song. And again, the mic is
Yeah.
dead at this point. I just sang a cappella.
Oh
And
my God.
so like I sang, I think it was like the chorus of
Yeah.
the song. There's a clip of it somewhere. I'll
Yeah,
send
yeah,
it to
yeah.
you. Maybe you can like post it after
Yeah.
this, but there's a clip of it somewhere. And I just sang a cappella. And then like there was a point in the chorus where like I just held the note.
Yeah.
And then he queued up the song like right where the drop was, and then just
Hey, y'all
full
just made it work
blast,
together.
just unspoken mid concert, mid performance, and everything. And I was like, that's the
Sometimes
moment.
you just have to go with the flow.
Just gotta go with the flow. So those type of moments like that, that's what drives me. That's
Yeah.
what like turns on the fire like within me to keep
So
doing stuff
you're
like
an
that.
amazing performer. Do you have tips for being a performer? Because there's a difference between being a great singer
Yeah,
and being a performer.
yeah. You just gotta be on your toes. I feel like
Yeah?
that's kind of cliche to say, but like, you know, work on just being really adaptable and learn to like pivot like with any given moment. And it doesn't have to be just like with performing and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just like with anything going on in life too. So let's go back to
Yeah.
what you were that one night with the bandana night. Let's call it
Yes.
that, right? Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but like I felt good that
Yeah.
night, and I was like, no, I'm gonna put on a good show.
Yeah.
And I was doing outfit changes and everything.
Yes, you
Remember
wore
that?
black and white.
Yeah,
and
and I
two
was
or
like
three
in
outfits.
a
Yeah.
button up with some slacks
Yeah.
on, and very different from what I'm
Yes.
wearing right now.
Yes.
And I just kept telling myself, I got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to do it. I don't care if it's gonna be a little off here and there, but I just got to do it. And I felt like me telling myself that over and over again, not the liquid courage or anything
Right,
like that. Yeah,
You heard that? Not the liquid
not
courage.
not the liquid courage. Yeah.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. And oh yeah, no, definitely the team was back there giving me like pep talks and everything. Just like, hey, you did good here. Maybe like do a little bit this a little bit differently. And I don't know if you saw that or not, but like that was
Not really. I'm like, I definitely was focusing on how the crowd interacted with you guys. You know, it's how you guys each individually, because let's talk about Lucid, because we keep like,
sure. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's kind of hard not to talk
we're like kind
about
of like
that.
hinting around them. So you're part of a music group. It's called
Correct.
Lucid Entertainment. I'll let you talk, give us a little bit of history about it. But we were at that event, and when I go to events with you guys, there's so many. Each of you have like. You have like very singular, different talents, and even though they sync well, which I'm sure is from a lot of practice and you guys spending a lot of time together, So when I am at one of your events, I am literally evaluating each one of you and like looking at the differences and looking at the individuality of, of you each. And that's just how I evaluate people and how they interact with different personalities, interact with the crowd, and so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah. So like you said, Lucid Entertainment, shout out my team, you know. A group of super multi-talented people, ranging from artists to photographers to videographers to graphic designers. We got our managers, of course, shout out to them. They're the ones that do the behind the scenes stuff and let the artists be artists, you know, and I'm really grateful for them for doing that. So like you mentioned, when we do the performances and everything, I'm gonna let you into little insider secrets here. So what we do is before we meet up to do the big show performance and everything, we practice each song 10 to 15 times back to back to back. And our managers...
The day of?
No, not the day of.
Before.
No, not even the day before.
Or just like in general.
We're talking maybe 2-3 weeks before
I'm
the
like,
show.
holy crap, guys! Like, aren't you exhausted the day of?
Yeah, and like I'm sure you've noticed, like at the shows you've like come to, like after the performances, like we're gassed, like we're done because
they're ready to party.
Yeah, we're ready to party because we've been prepping so much. Yeah, we take prepping super seriously, you know, and we do what we can to help each other. We're not just like, hey, I'm in my corner and I'm going to practice my own songs, you know. Like sometimes we usually show up all together, and then like we're also at the point where we're helping set up like audio. We're running cables. We're helping Sandy Science Set, for example. He's our main DJ for most of our shows, so we're helping him connect everything. We're talking with the event coordinators to make sure we have our timeline for the night set up correctly. You know, it's not just, hey, we show up and perform, you know. Right. And that's something that we all kind of take pride in and share responsibilities with, so we make sure we have a good performance. And I think that's what makes us a group that works really well together, because we care about each other, not just ourselves and our performances.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been part of that?
Lucid roughly started 2019, 2020. It didn't fully like become a thing until like late 21, early 22.
And you were part of the whole beginning part of it too?
Beginning to end, yeah. One of the founding members, founding artists, founding members.
Hey, listen.
For sure. No, but
shout out Slater.
Yeah.
The Day.
All of them. Ramen. Top Ramen. Ro Van Shan.
I know their names, but I know he's part of the group, so he probably remembers everybody.
All the team, you know, yeah, for sure. Cameraman Eswin, can't forget him too, you know, the whole team. So,
and stay tuned, because I do plan on interviewing each of those members, and just not one after another, so you guys can get a little taste of Lucid here and there, so we can make sure that you're staying up to date with what's going on with that music group.
Shout out to them for sure.
So I won't say I'm interviewing one of the best, because they're all great, but I do very much like Luielg's music. He knows I will do that every single time, because I'm trying very hard not to say Luigi.
Oh, let me actually explain that now. So how I came with the name. Can we segue into that?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Let's do that. So the name Luielg is it's like my initials, obviously, and I was like, what's another name that's like kind of close to mine that like I can make into like an alternate persona. But then like it was just Luielg. I was just like, yeah, it's just this nickname and initials, and that's it. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, wait, I'm Latino. Like let me look at this from a different perspective. So if you read LG in phonetic, if you sound it out, I'm sorry, it's LG. So like, but it's ELG. So L.
The way it looks, the way it sounds, that's what we're looking at right now.
That's what we're looking at. So if you say LG with like kind of like a Spanish accent, so if the word
LG
translates to the G.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's like Louis the G, but you know, and I thought that was kind of cool. I was just like, oh, this is like a kind of play on the way the letters are sounded out and everything. So I was like, I'm gonna stick with that.
Now that he said that to me, now I'm gonna call him Louis the G.
Yeah. So, but because I'm a multi-language artist, that's how I feel like it works. For me, you know?
Absolutely. So let's talk more into that. Multi-language artist. So, what's your original language?
funny. My first language was Spanish.
Okay.
And then I started school, and then I like forgot. I just lost the language entirely.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
First grade? Like,
yeah, like kindergarten, first grade. Like I was only speaking Spanish when I was born,
yeah,
growing up, and
yeah.
everything. And then I started school. I went to school, elementary school in New York,
What part of New
and
York?
New Rochelle.
Okay.
I probably should, like, all the New Yorkers are probably like, damn, New Rochelle.
I was like, what part?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My hometown is a little bit more upstate from
Okay.
like the city and
Yeah.
everything. But yeah, so I started school and then just poof, no more Spanish. I was only speaking English.
How long did it take you to get it
I
back?
didn't come back until like the fifth or sixth grade, and like
How'd your family feel about that? Aren't they Spanish?
yeah, they only speak Spanish.
So how did that work with you? You just
mean,
didn't talk to your family until you were in fifth grade?
No, yeah, what? No. They obviously they were
Yeah,
learning. They
yeah.
had to go to work and everything.
Yeah.
They had to learn the language, so they were
Learning with you.
Yeah, we were bouncing off of each
Yeah.
other at one point, and like it just got to the point where I understood Spanish, but I didn't speak it.
Yeah.
And they understood English, they just didn't speak it.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
that
So
was
you guys
that
were
was a
kinda
little
helping
challenging.
each other a little bit.
Yeah,
But...
it wasn't until I moved down here.
So right now, do you know both languages?
Oh, absolutely. I'm fluent. Yeah. My job, the reason I have my job is because
Okay.
I'm bilingual
Yes.
and fluent in both
Okay.
languages.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in charge of like this Spanish network
Oh, okay.
here in Tampa and Orlando, but that's related. That's related. So we moved down here, and then I started middle school,
Yeah.
and a growing boy in middle school starts to take different interests instead of toys and video games.
Right,
You know,
right.
I was interested in girls at that point, and then I was like, well, I need an angle, like I need to
Like, who
one
am
up
I?
these guys
Yeah,
around here,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started taking Spanish classes.
Oh my gosh.
But then everybody's
Even though
like,
he is Spanish.
yeah, and that's what everybody was like, oh, you get an easy A, and I was like, yeah, I'll get an easy A, but that actually helped me learn the proper grammar, the fundamentals,
Right.
and then I would take that home.
And get some game.
And then, while I was doing that, I was able to talk to the girls in Spanish. And I was like, hey, what's up? And everything. And then that obviously just built over time. And then I took a little bit more serious. I'm like, no, let me actually be fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
And then now I'm here,
So with your music, do you sing Spanish songs and English songs, or do your songs have both Spanish and English in them?
It's honestly whatever I'm feeling at the time.
All of the above.
So it's just either or
Yeah.
both in the same
Yeah.
song. I've been thinking about kind of mixing it up. I feel like that's like a little more acceptable
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
nowadays, especially with how much like Spanish music and reggaeton in general
Yeah.
has just blown up in the past couple of
For
years.
sure.
Yeah. So, my first like release under Lucid was a Spanish song, and that was the one where
What was that
everybody
called?
it was called Un Secreto, which is out now
Hey.
on all platforms. That's been out for a while, and that's been a crowd favorite. I'm sure you've seen.
Yes,
So
it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Check it out. Play it at your
So,
next party.
for sure. I do birthday parties. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's serious.
Yeah.
The whole group is serious. So make sure you check out, because I will be posting performance videos from Louis the G and Lucid from different members. So make sure you stay
Yeah.
tuned. Make sure you're checking out the YouTube as well as the Instagram profiles for Nakedly Under Construction, because all of this will be on those platforms.
For sure.
And on Louis, I'm going to say LG, because that's how you spell it for Instagram.
Yeah. That's how you find me on Instagram, Luielg, Luielg,
Yeah.
and everywhere else too, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so that song, what year did you write that?
Yes,
What
I
year?
wrote it. That was 2020, I think.
That was 2020?
2021.
Okay, have you written anything since then?
Yeah,
And what have you done? What have you done since then?
Plenty. Just recently, this past June, July, I released a song with Sweater Weather. And that was like a shout out to those guys. That was more of like a EDM, like fun party,
Yeah.
electric type of song, and
So
that's
what's your genre?
and I was just about to say
Yeah,
that.
like-
Like I love different types of genres. I don't see myself, narrowing myself or niching myself to a specific genre.
Is it like a good time? Having a good time is your genre.
I mean, yeah, let's go with that.
I'm like,
Having
that's
a good
what I
time.
feel from you.
Yeah, for sure. Having a good time is like, if that's a genre, I would be into that. So no,
We
because
just made it up, guys.
because some days like I'm feeling like Afro beats, then sometimes I'm feeling like cumbia,
Right.
like or like Puerto Rican salsa, or I'll go back to hip hop or maybe some R&B. Then
So
I'm
you
back to
rap
reggaeton.
and you sing
No.
and speak Spanish.
No,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, obviously more on the singing side, but like for example, we have hip hop artists, rappers, and they like, hey, we need like a singer on this
Right,
hook.
right.
That's where I would come in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
We're just making sure we know what you reach out to him for,
right.
or you
So,
just check out his shows.
for sure. And then I guess we can segue that into like what's coming up next.
Yes.
So
It's almost like he knows my questions before I ask them.
that's super. Who's that? The producers over here.
It's like that's what he does for his day job. So
Yeah. So what's coming up next is a new song. It's coming out December 17th called Adicto. This one's going to be in Spanish, and it's going to be completely different from anything else I've done so far. So first it was reggaeton, Latin pop, and then the second song was, what was that one? It was more of like a reggae, like island R&B kind of vibe, and then we just had Distance with Sweater Weather. That was an EDM song. So this one's going to be more of like a synthwave pop Latin kind of vibe, and the song is completely in Spanish, and there's going to be some rock elements in there too, so like we're changing it up again, so I'm very excited for this
I
one.
love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you balance the creative and logic side of yourself? That's the question that I had when I heard you talking about like the more logical side and the backup and the marketing yourself and like the producing and all that. And then there's the creative side that just wants to have a good time and make everybody throw a party.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Everything's okay. Have a good time. Smile.
I think
How do you balance that logic and that creative? Because I know personally I do it, but it's not fun all the time.
Yeah. I will say it's a little difficult to kind of like answer that question because I don't really see them
I'm gonna
as.
put my glasses up. We're gonna get serious.
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Let me
Like,
turn.
I gotta make sure that I can.
I feel like
I'm like I gotta see. I gotta make sure.
I feel like I
I'm
need to
seeing him.
turn.
We're gonna get
turn my
serious
hat
now.
around. I feel like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon when he turns his hat around and he gets super serious.
I'm like, now we're gonna get into deeper conversation.
Yeah. For that, I don't really see a separation between the two, because this is my whole life basically. There isn't like I feel like I'm blessed with the lifestyle that I'm constantly creating, whether it is for work or it is for myself and my art and my music. And that's really the answer, because there's not a day or time that I'm not doing the creative side of things.
What do you dream about? I'm just trying to see what
I don't. I blanked out for a second because I had to think.
He's like, when was the last time I slept?
Yeah, no, actually it's a very challenging thing. I'm up maybe 2-3 in the morning like every night, and then I'm up 7:30, maybe 8:20, rushing out the door to get to work on time. 2-3 in the morning.
So like you sleep for like 3 or 4 hours.
Maybe five. 5 is like the goal.
Oh my goodness, are you grumpy?
Sometimes. I don't get sleep what's that called? Where you're,
I don't know, but I definitely got it.
where there's when you're hangry.
Yes, that's definitely me. But sleepy.
Sleep deprived.
Yeah.
I don't really get sleep deprived and like get up grumpy or in a moody kind of way. Completely off topic, just to like answer that question too.
Absolutely.
The times that I do get moody is I'm type 1 diabetic. So when my sugar's out of control, that's when I'll get moody.
So how does that work?
So
let's dive in there.
Okay.
So that's something. So it's like, don't worry, he doesn't need to sleep. He's a little bit of a superhuman, but he needs at least 5 hours without him doing something to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
But then you need batteries other ways, which is food, obviously.
Right.
So you're kind of telling us that you're kind of like always at it, whether it's being creative
absolutely.
or logical. So how do you balance your personal life and, I guess, being diabetic, and the health issues, or keeping up your health while also pursuing your goals?
Yeah. And I think that's really important too, that people figure out a way to balance those things, because I'll definitely have times and moments where like, hey, I'm crashing, and I won't stop until my body tells me to.
Right.
And that's when I'll get like super sick. And I never get sick, but what the times that I do, and like, and it's funny because I've timed it.
Absolutely.
It will never last more than 3 days. And that's my body telling me like,
Yeah.
hey, you've been going for too long. You need to take these next 3 days or so, just freaking sleep, and then just sleep this off, basically. I think the problem with the industry that we're in, obviously, it's like a lot of people just overlook their health entirely. Unfortunately, I became type 1 diabetic when I was 23, and it sucked. Very much sucked. I was already eating healthy and everything. Nobody in my family was diabetic, so I lost 80 pounds in a week. That's not normal. Yeah, it's really bad. I was like 180 pounds, and then no, I was more. I was like 100, almost. I was pushing 200,
Yeah.
which is crazy for like my height. But I was going to the gym a lot, and I thought, oh, like, I'm just eating, I'm taking protein and everything. And then I went to Colombia for my cousin's wedding, and I went from like 180, 190 to like 115, 120 in like less than a week. And I was constantly going to the bathroom. Like, I would take a sip of water and I would just empty buckets like into the toilet and everything. Yeah, so that really made me have to like take a step back, really rebalance life. And I wasn't able to be creative at that time either, because I won't be able to do any of this unless I take care of myself, obviously, right? And with that came mental health awareness and everything, and understanding what was going on with me, what was going on with my surroundings, my relationships, and people around me, that really made me have to like deep dive into, I'm doing more than just being a creative, And like I said, I feel like all of this is completely overlooked.
Absolutely, I agree.
In the industry. So, and I'm not against this, but like most people say like, oh, just like feed that into your music, feed that into your craft, and then sometimes I don't believe that's the best way to handle things sometimes, because it could be something serious that someone needs to address, but by doing that, they're kind of like avoiding it.
Is that like kind of saying passion versus balance?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So how would you define balance? How would you define passion in life or in artistry or for yourself?
Yeah. I mean, because, the argument there would be like, hey, like if you're not passionate enough, you're like, or if you're not doing or going the extra mile, or if you're not doing more than, I guess, your peers or what you would normally do,
Right.
then you're not passionate about it. And I don't particularly agree with that. If it's affecting you mentally, physically, emotionally, not just with yourself, with your people around you, I think you need to say, hey, this might be hurting other people. This might be hurting myself. Is that something that I want to go through? Is that something I'm willing to sacrifice to get to my goal?
Right.
I don't think you can't get to your goal by sacrificing or not sacrificing certain things, find your way around it.
So just to clarify there, so is sacrifice required to reach goals, or you think that it's not necessarily, or certain sacrifices are not required?
No, I don't think sacrifices are required. I think the roadmap, I guess let's call it, to your personal success is to be consistent as much as you can possibly be. I don't think you should lose friendships or, completely omit your health, or
really think that you can balance that passion and that balance.
Absolutely.
Don't feed it into you so much that you are unable to balance the personal and the social and so on and so forth. Can that just be consistent and does that mean having a schedule? Is that more what you're talking about?
Yes, I cannot survive without a schedule, and like, a routine, yeah. And like, I know it sounds crazy, like not barely getting any sleep and everything, but like, I'll plan naps. It's not like I'm only getting 5 hours of sleep, like maybe like halfway through the day, because in my office I have a couch and I'll just take a quick nap there. My lunch break is an hour long, and my lunch break is usually me sleeping, just taking a quick nap. So to go back to the sacrifice thing, I don't think you need to do that in order to achieve your goals. I've, not to get into like the details of it all and everything, just because of time. But, I have personally gone through something like that where I was just, I don't care about my health. I don't care about my health. Let's just keep pushing and pushing and pushing to reach my goal. And my body shut down.
Right.
And as the result of all of that was in my opinion, was me getting the diabetes.
Right.
That was my body's like reaction, like, hey, we can't handle this anymore. Like, now you got to live with this for the rest of your life.
But you
So
think having a team, because you have that group, it makes a big difference in you being able to be consistent and to have balance?
if anything, I think it just makes us hold each other accountable. And I feel like that's what a lot of people don't have around them.
Accountability partner.
Yeah, like,
Or someone.
or a team, or just a partner, or yeah, literally
Support.
anyone. Some kind of real support, not just a bunch of yes people around
Right.
you. Because that's very different.
How do
'Cause-
you find those kind of people? And like, because you were there for the beginning of the group, how do people find those people? If so many people, you try to work with somebody and you get burned over and over and over again, and then some people quit, and then some people end up doing it by themselves. How do you find those quality people to be able to build the team?
I think you have to be open to bringing new people in, and honestly, it's just trial and error, and then having the knowledge and the power to tell yourself, hey, this isn't working out, or tell that person, hey, this isn't working out, and it doesn't have to be anything in a negative way. It can just be like a platonic, like, hey, we don't think this is working out. What are your plans moving forward? How do you think we can like make this work for the both of us? Like, it's a conversation, obviously. And we've had those people come in and out, and like, nobody left on bad terms and everything. It usually ended up being like that particular person was like, hey, this isn't working for me. I want to go in a different direction. And that's really what it is.
First get together with somebody or meet somebody or interested in working with somebody as a team or an individual, do you guys kind of, or do you individually present your expectations from the beginning, so that later, if you have to have that conversation, be like, hey, remember, this is kind of the goal and this is really not happening, or we don't feel like that's being met?
No, I don't think it. That's definitely not how it is. The way we approach things, at least the lucid mission statement, let's call it that. It's, how can we help you bring your projects, your art to like life? What can we do for you? And I feel like that's the different approach that we have with certain projects, and not just lucid, but just also like my philosophy as well. It's just like, what can I do for you so that we can make your project come to life? And I think the other members also have like the same mindset.
Right.
And that's why we work together so well. That's why we have the products that we have. We have the songs, we have the content that we have, because it's not just, I need you to help me do this. It's what can I do for you as well?
Yeah,
And then,
for sure. Is there anything else that supports you through your balance? Are you spiritual? Do you have like a girlfriend or a parent, or is there any other support that's in your system besides lucid?
myself, and that's something I had to teach myself. I used to be, let's just say before lucid, I used to be very like independent, but like in an unhealthy way, in the sense of like, I would never ask for help. I just felt like I got to do this myself,
Right.
and it's only going to get done if I do it, and that was something I had to like unlearn. And then
How did you do that?
I had to reach my like lowest point,
Yeah.
my absolute lowest point, for me to be like, I need to just completely reevaluate life, because I had a very incorrect understanding of just how things went, how I reacted to things, how I handled certain situations. And like I said, like up until I got to my lowest point, that's when I had to reassess everything. I was very insecure and very like doubtful of myself. And it wasn't until like I had my friends and family that I finally allowed to say, hey, like, we can help you. That's where I finally started
You
getting
have
the
to
support.
be willing to ask.
Yeah, for sure. And that,
They say you have
Yeah.
to be willing to ask.
yeah, that's been my biggest challenge for sure.
Is there anything else that you want to present to the Nakedly Under Construction crowd, or viewers or readers, about yourself, about anything about the processes of life, of anything you've had to overcome, any tips or tricks, or just telling us a little bit more about any of your projects that you worked on that you want to speak on before we end this?
Yeah, for sure. What I want, my message to everybody is just like, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that your plan in life is, you can do it. It's just up to you. And you are the only thing that's holding yourself back, and just stay consistent. Just stay consistent. Don't worry about this person behind you said something, your grandma's feeling some type of way about it. You don't have the certain camera, you don't have the certain mic, you don't have whatever. Just do it. Just do it. And I promise you, I was at a point where I never thought that I'd be performing. I never thought I'd be performing in different states. I never thought I'd be making my original music. And here I am years later doing it. Why? I just kept trying. And don't get me wrong, I got made fun of and everything along the way, but just keep going. Just keep going. And I think though, December 17th.
December 7th.
December 17th. That's all I have to say. There's more, but I know we're on time, so.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
But we're probably going to be working with Louis the G and Luielg and in the future. Expect to see him. Please check him out on all the platforms, Instagram. Make sure you are following him. If you need somebody to do any producing for you, hit him up. And make sure that you subscribe below, because we have his stories as well as so many other people, business owners, dancers, comedians. So this is just the first or the second or the third or the fourth of one of many very talented people that we will have. So I hope everybody has a good day and keep it moving.
Stay tuned for more. Woo!